Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness. And I'm actually in the World of Darkness right now. I'm on the World of Darkness website because I really wanted to take a look at this Hunter the Reckoning first look at the new edition. So we got like H5 going on here, which is awesome to see. I'm a little shocked they didn't go for the big three. I kind of thought that they would gone vampire, werewolf, and mage. But seeing how Hunter's always fun. Hunter is always fun. To be able to take Hunter and use that as the basis of the background and use all the other core books as your antagonist book, that is so much fun. And the things that vampires do, where we rationalize them in our heads while we're playing vampire, they are really messed up compared to what's going on with the hunters. Where when we're playing vampires, the stuff that the hunters do is really messed up. So let's take a look exactly what this has to say. Humanity clings to a comfortable illusion that the world belongs to mankind, that they lead lives of free-willed individuality, completely unaware that they occupy a world of grim mysteries, inhabited by monsters. Those savvy to the secrets of the world of darkness know the truth, however, that timeless blood drinkers, ravaging shapeshifters, and restless ghosts, and even more harrowing things haunt the night. That's a fun opening right there. And it also gives us hope that we're going to end up seeing like a Wraith 5th edition and things like that. And I like the fact that it says shapeshifters, not specifically werewolf. So we might actually see some of the other changing breeds as time goes by. Hunters are among those who have seen past the veil of secrecy and know the world for what it is, a bauble in the claws of monsters. Hunters fight back against the threat because they have glimpsed the truth and has resolved to do something about it. Fun. Hunters form their own cells with other hunters for protection and advantage in numbers, hopefully. Think of cells as hunter startups. The player characters bring specialized edges to their own unique cells, which are likely cosmopolitan in makeup, with hunters from a variety of ideologies known as creeds. Creeds shape how the hunters approach their supernatural quarry, from the outlook they suppose to the tools they provide. As well, they provide a social component to what might otherwise be a bleak and lonely road. If nothing else, one can look to others of one's creed for a common take on the monster's infested world and how and why to effect change. That's a very fun way of putting it. I heard that the edges had changed because originally the edges were all like magical powers and crazy supernatural abilities, but I did hear that in the interview with Justin Achille that they were considering making the edges more like basically specific advantages that a hunter might have, almost like when you're building a vampire character sheet, those advantages, using your merits as a way to get the upper hand, like contacts in the police department and stuff like that. I am very interested to see how the creeds work, though, especially with that, because creeds were always like the clans for hunters, and I hear those might change a little bit, but we're going to stick to basically the same thing. Oh, I love that artwork for this werewolf. That's amazing. One risk of being a hunter is the consuming nature of the hunt, the perseverance in the face of not just adversary but danger. Drive enables the hunter to push themselves beyond the limit of those without it, but drive also tempts the hunter to keep going. The more they learn, the closer they're pulled to the proximity of the very thing they pursue. Even when the wisest course is to withdraw and reconsider the plan. So it sounds like drive is going to end up being like an extended attribute, almost the same way as like resolve and composure come together to create willpower, or your health is created through your stamina +3 kind of thing in vampire. The counterpart of drive is desperation, the intense urgency that prompts cells of hunters to do something now before it's too late. Players always choose when to engage their hunter's drive because there's a risk involved. But desperation grows as the threat mounts in any number of ways. You know, the way that they have desperation and drive, the way they present it there, it actually sounds almost like your convictions and your touchstones in a way. Maybe not in practice, but at least in the description it sounds like that to me, and that sounds very interesting. I just want to take a second to look at this beautiful wolf. Look at that. Pause this if you want a longer look, because that is incredible. It almost looks like a mix between charcoal and watercolor. It's a beautiful piece of work. The player protagonist of Hunter the Reckoning are philosophically and mechanically different from organized hunter antagonists like the FBI Special Affairs Division and the Society of Leopold, by dint of their drives. Other hunters take orders, but Hunter the Reckoning characters make their own way following their drive. I did hear that they are going to be completely different from the SI, and that is a very interesting thing to think. I also like the idea of these are people who are doing this on their own versus the people who are organized in groups headed up by the church and by the government. So Hunter the Reckoning is our vigilante groups, and that's pretty neat, because I can think of a lot of ways that the SI and the Hunter the Reckoning hunters might clash and actually become enemies. As well, the hunters generally consider the more formal orcs to be ethically compromised or corrupt. Many of the orgs have ulterior motives beyond the actual hunt. At best, hunters might take a tip or a contract from an org, knowing that the org has an agenda behind the cooperation. At worst, the org are actually working against the hunters, perhaps using them to reveal unknown supernatural threats, or even using the hunt as an opportunity to eliminate what they see as a rogue element. That is freaking awesome. I love that. Orgs, obviously, to me, means organizations, so groups together. And that really does support what I had just said, where they could clash and actually be enemies instead of working together. But I can also see with the whole putting things aside to deal with the greater threat kind of thing. But that does not mean that they're going to be doing it for the same reasons. That's important. The player characters have drives, creeds, and edges. The vast majority of hunters in the orgs, and even many lone hunters themselves, do not. That actually almost makes them like the Waywards in the old system. We used to compare those to the Malkavians, the hunters. And I mean like the orgs and the ones that are just hunting regardless without a creed and stuff. That sounds like Wayward. Look at that. More of that. I love the all-inclusiveness that they're doing here, and you can see that this person has amazing experience because she's already got 8 marked down on her gun there. I like the dog tags. I like the selective color also. It brings a very Sin City vibe to this art. The ultimate hunter intention in this regard is to get shit done. Unburdened by the ethically compromised agendas of the orgs, hunter cells have the advantage of operating with an integrity and independence that the larger, more structured orgs can't. That means the orgs themselves often function as antagonists in Hunter's World of Darkness, yes, or as entities that otherwise illustrate a number of Hunter themes. For example, hunters might have contacts in the orgs who feed them information here and there, but it's just as likely that they're using the hunters as bait to flush out a nest of unusual threats they've been monitoring for 3 months. I like the idea of somebody in the orgs slipping you information that you might find vampires in this location, just sending you into a place so that you are now the bait. They don't care if you die or not, because as soon as the vampires come rushing down on you, that's when the orcs bust through the windows and start just shooting everything up, regardless of whether or not you get hit. They don't care. They just want to get the vampire taken care of. So that's very neat. I like the idea of the twisted ethics of the orgs. The hunt itself may have as its quarry a wide variety of monsters around whom interesting hunter stories can be told. Players will find some unique twists on familiar archetypes, but also a variety of nighttime strangeness that don't fit any classic category. The onus is on the hunters to do their research and preparation, therefore, to make the world a safer and hopefully better place. That is so well written. I love that. I really do. And it does get me excited because the idea of playing a hunter game is just fun. I ran a hunter game a while ago and it was very, very fun. And it was a straight out, no magic, no edges, no anything. It was not Hunter the Reckoning, it was Hunter the Vigil, which this kind of feels like. It was Blue Book Hunter LARP, where there was no magic, nothing special, nobody was anything crazy or anything like that, and we lasted a good amount of time. I'm pretty sure the game itself lasted about 6 months, that's crazy. That's like twice the lifespan of a standard hunter. But they were being used by something the entire time that they were playing. They were being fed information, and it was for a darker purpose and a darker reason. And this really does feel like the same type of thing. But I like the idea that edges are being brought in as a calmer way of handling things instead of being able to produce sunlight from your hands and stuff like that. That was always a little bit much to me. The idea of running Hunter the Reckoning was always intimidating because it was just, humans need to be human, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because it's the overwhelming odds that the humans persevere over that make the game worth it for me to play. And I'm just going to throw a reason out there that a lot of people can probably grasp, is that's why we like Batman. It's a guy. His edge is that he's freaking rich. Like, seriously, like, what's your superpower? I'm rich. He can afford all these amazing gadgets. He's also very smart. He's a top-ranking detective and a scientist and a chemist. Like, there's so many things that make that human so popular in the DC fandom because it's a person. In the pantheon of comic books, that's a person. Unlike the gods he typically ends up working with, Superman, the Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, whatever, they're gods. He is a human, and he has beaten all of them at least once. Think about that. The idea of the human perseverance, the persistence, his drive. I'm very excited for this. I think this is going to be amazing and a lot of fun to play. I'm definitely going to want to at least do a one-off with this kind of thing. The names of the artists who gave us this artwork they're right here. I was going to try to pronounce them, but I don't want to, because I don't want to butcher someone's name. These are artists and they deserve better. But this is just amazing. This is going to be so much fun. And I'd like to hear everybody's opinions on it. Let me know. I am Voivode Maquette. This is Our World of Darkness. And I'd like to thank the devs who are working on Hunter the Reckoning for giving us this wonderful first look. I cannot wait to see more, to see what exactly is going to happen and how these humans are going to face the night. Have a good evening. Bye.